gents, if you just refrain from drinking it for now. Okay. Huh? Oh, sorry. Okay, so my name's Nick, I work at Manchester House, and I'd like to start by talking about my drink, what it is, why I made it. We're going to follow on by a little bit of history as to why I decided to make the drink and how I've managed to link my crazy idea into Cuban history, and follow on by what the ingredients are and what goes in it. So the main basis for the drink is a cheese board. I decided to twist it. Love cheese boards, and I've always wanted to be able to provide a cheese board in a boozy way. I love booze, love cheese, so combine the two together, this is what I think this drink is. The main bulk of the drink is a daiquiri. The daiquiri is an apple, walnut, and it's a celery daiquiri, which is meant to represent the citrusy and the savoury side of a cheese board, which cuts through the creaminess and saltiness of the cheese which is on there. There's also something on there which is Nick's fig balls, which they are homemade fig chutney, which has been reduced with Havana 7, Tawny Port, and then that has been sealed with a cherry gelatin to make them look like grapes. I work at Manchester House, and a lot of the food there is a bit of trickery involved. Things look like things are not supposed to. Very much, you know, you see a cocktail and you take it in and you're already deciding what it's going to taste like before you even put it in your mouth. So I'm hopefully trying to do that there. Big on presentation. A bit of history, as I said to the other gents, sorry, but I'm talking about a gentleman called Graham Greene. Everyone talks about Ernest Hemingway, but Graham Greene is a lesser known character who also used to drink his daiquiris in La Floridita, sorry. This guy was a British playwright. He was a British playwright, a critic, an author, and he was also bipolar, which allowed him to address all these issues in a bit of a dark comedy way, which meant he was really popular. And if anyone likes the poetry, then they'll also know who he is. This guy, he most famously wrote a book called Our Man in Havana. This is a book about MI6 and taking the piss out of the MI6 agents in pre-revolution Cuba. But I've talked about that. There's also something else about Graham Greene that not many people know. He's part of the same company who grow Green King Brewery, which is still alive and kicking today. A lot of questionable takeovers, but they're actually really quite big. These guys own such places as the Lock Fine, Old English Inns, and brew such beers as Abbott Ale and Old Speckled Hen. So that's the idea behind the Old Speckled Hen, so we'll have a drink to Graham Greene in a moment. So yeah, I've had a bit of a talk about it. I'm going to jump into what the cocktail is. So first things first, I muddle it again. Game on. So the main bulk of the drink, which is going in, well, not the main bulk, the first bit is muddled celery. I didn't use a celery puree, and by muddling it you get the savoury and anise notes from a celery stalk, also quite a salty character, which works really well with the rum I'm using, which is Havana 3. By doing that, muddle up. Yeah, get stuck in. Yeah, so works really well with the rum. So that's the celery in there. Next is a homemade walnut bitters. I made this by toasting some almonds. Into that went some cinnamon, nutmeg, grapefruit zest, and orange zest. A little pinch of salt in there as well. Lovely. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, that works. Yeah, sorry. That's the walnut bitters in there. Next goes in is salt. Just added a little tiny pinch of salt in there. A cocktail book that I've been reading recently is a book which is by it's a book by Tristan Stevenson, who recommends that you add a tiny little pinch of salt to a drink. It helps balance the flavours and bring out all the subtle notes from everything else. Didn't put my walnut bitters in. 5 dashes of walnut bitters going in, by the way, gents. There it goes. That's the salt in there. Next I'm using, sorry, this is grab a juice. Next up, apple juice is a lengthener. Apple juice has been going well with cheese for God knows how long with the Ploughmans. A nice balance between citrus, sour and sweet with an apple. Really cuts through cheese well, so it really works well with this daiquiri. Okay, that's the important bit, the booze, is Havana 3. Havana 3 is a really herbaceous, grassy rum, and I think it works beautifully. Works beautifully well with the celery in the drink. That goes in there. I'm sticking with a 1. I'm losing the place, I don't want to go too far. Double shot of that goes in. Next up, I'm using pastis. I'm only using 5ml in there. The pastis works really, really well with the muddled celery and the walnut. If you bite into a walnut, and also if you bite into celery, you get a certain anise character. So this acts as like a flavour bridge, and it completes that flavour triangle. I think it keeps the drink going in your palate and keeps it going all the way around. There we are. I just need to add my sour part, sorry. 25ml of lime juice. Whilst making this drink, I did toy around with using something called tartaric acid. I thought it's fitting quite well with the whole with the cheese board theme. Tartaric acid, the acidity you get from biting into a grape, didn't work too well, so sticking with the good old-fashioned lime juice. 2 heaped bar spoons of caster sugar going in to balance it out. And that's everything. So, as I'm saying, Graham Greene, bit of a lad. I think that if he was alive today, you know, he'd like this cocktail. He was there's a hotel which is still open to this day, which claims to have Graham Greene's favourite daiquiri. It's a lime daiquiri. Sorry, just shake this. It's a white rum daiquiri with lime, and he served it with a lime sherbet on the side. So that tells me that he likes to play around with his cocktails a bit. So if he was alive, I think he'd be enjoying this drink. It's good. There we are. There we are. Sorry, I've not left myself very much room here, gents. As I'm saying, I'm serving this with a trio of cheeses. A blue cheese, a goat's cheese, and some Gouda. There's a local Cuban cheese which is meant to taste precisely like Gouda, which is why I've stuck Gouda on there. And finally, these are the rum balls that I was talking about, which gives the impression that they look like grapes. Finish off with some fresh fig and some candied walnuts. These candied walnuts were soaked in syrup, taken out, stuck back in some syrup for a little while, and then eventually pan fried. All of these little bits and pieces are just more for decoration, really. Everything that's usually on a cheese board is in the drinks. Everything else outside it is now put onto the board. And finally, I think I was a little bit modest with my garnish last time. So I decided to just step it up a little bit. Sorry, pardon you guys. So, I've made an apple chicken. So the cocktail's called the Madre board. The name came from Havana used the name when when a rum is being aged. They use the term it becomes Madre, which is to mother the rum. They age, they blend, they select the rum carefully to create the best rum possible. So this is the Madre board, or which is the mother board, the mother of all cheese boards. And this little piece is called Graham Greene's daiquiri. So to Graham Greene, gents, thank you very much. You might want to wash your mouth out before you try it.